Bible in a minute, Ephesians 5, and we're looking at verses 11 through 13. But before we do that, this section, Paul is covering steps to Christian maturity. So we're looking at steps to maturity. I should have had this on the last video, but I didn't. So in order for you to keep track of the points I'm making, or that Paul is making here, is I'll try to have these on the board. But the first one is walk in the light, verses 7 through 10. And so he talks about how to do that: goodness, righteousness, and walking in truth. Then in this passage, he says, avoid the deeds of darkness, verses 11 through 13. So this is what it says: do not participate. The word participate means to share in the company with or have fellowship with the useless deeds of darkness, but instead even expose them. So let's pause there, because he's saying don't participate in the useless deeds of darkness. Now, I think I've said this in a previous video, but I mean, it bears repeating. What you need to understand is sin will never produce what it promises. It promises pleasure without consequences. It will never produce that. There will always be consequences for our sin. Now, sometimes that's internal consequences that damages our relationship with the Lord. Sometimes there are physical consequences of being engaged in useless deeds of darkness. But you've got to understand, when you are tempted to do what is wrong, sin never, never, never produces what it promises. It creates shame, it creates guilt, it creates distance between you and the Lord. And it can create a tremendous number of consequences, possible consequences for the action. So when you are tempted to sin, please remember, it never produces what it promises. And it says, Paul says in the end of verse 11, he says, expose these deeds. Now, in the context of church, right? The Bible tells us, I mean, basically, we're not intended to judge the world. We're intended to judge the church. And so we should judge the deeds that are going on in the church. This is one of the reasons why we have Christian discipline and spiritual discipline within the church context. Is sometimes people just need to be disciplined and hopefully loved back into the faith. You know, we don't discipline people to shun them and embarrass them. We don't post things on the internet for people to see the sins of other people. That's not the point. It's so that there is conviction, repentance, and a change, so that we can welcome them back into the fellowship. So we need to expose the deeds of darkness in our own life, and certainly expose the deeds of darkness in the lives of people that we have fellowship with, fellow brothers and sisters, our spouses, our children, our friends, if they profess Christianity. And then verse 12, he says, for it is disgraceful, it is shameful, filthy, dishonorable, even to speak the things which are done by them in secret. He's talking about these people who are outside the church and doing wicked things. And certainly I'm sure there are people in the church that are doing wicked things. And he says it's not even right. It's not even appropriate. It's shameful to even mention some of the things that people do in secret. Verse 13, but all things become visible when they are exposed by the light, for everything that becomes visible is light. And so he's just reminding people, like, as Jesus said, at some point, everything spoken in secret is going to be noised abroad. Everything done in secret is going to be known. And so when things are exposed, you want the things that are exposed to be the good things that you've done, the deeds in the light, not the shameful deeds in the darkness. That is Ephesians chapter 5, verses 11 through 13. Avoid the deeds of darkness. That's your number 2 step for spiritual maturity.